How's it going, everybody? It is Dennis, and we're back with another video. And today, as you can see on the screen, we're going over a weekly paying ETF. If you have not watched my previous video and my other video after before that, I mentioned before that I have a new investment that I have made, and that investment is the weekly ETF QDTE. Yes, I am finally getting into weekly dividend paying ETFs. And there's a lot of reasons to it, and we're going to go over it. But overall, this video is just going to be going over my strategy or my portfolio and what I'm updating in it. Just a quick little update video to see what I'm doing. But overall, just going over QDTE and why I have decided to put some money into it and why I'm continuing to invest into it more and more and more. So let's go ahead and get started. Of course, let's start off. Before we even get into QDTE, let me give you guys a quick update of what's going on in my portfolio. So first of all, YMAX, you guys did not see what my YMAX payment was before. If you guys are interested, my YMAX payment for the month of June was $127.42, with amount per share being at 73 cents, and myself owning 174 shares at that time. And right now I'm sitting at 181 shares, down 4.87%, and my average cost is $20.55. As you can see, when they paid out, it dropped a significant amount, and it continues to stay at that level. Hopefully, it continues to rise up. At the moment, the market is in a strange place. It's kind of sitting still, so we'll see where that goes. With AMZY, as I said before, if we go below that 10% amount, I will reinvest back into AMZY, and that's what I have done for the month of June. As you can see, I purchased 10 shares worth $217.43 of AMZY. That is because I dipped under 10%. I went down to 9.5% of my portfolio, and therefore I bought in more. So that is what we have done with my portfolio. Now let's go ahead and go to QDTE and talk about why I have decided to invest into it. Foremost, always look at the distributions, look at the performance. The distribution rate of QDTE is 25.11%. It pays out weekly. Of course, it doesn't pay 25.11% weekly. It pays that yearly or annually, and that's split it up into weekly payments. If we look at what the previous payments were for QDTE, they're pretty good. We have 36 cents, 33 cents. We had a 9 cents one, but I'm assuming that's when the market either spiked or dropped. We have 26, 33, 25, 31, 37. We're getting a consistent 30 to 20 cent dividend being paid from QDTE. We do have low moments of 14 cents and 9 cents. Of course, that is probably when markets are down or markets are up, depending if it goes too far out of the money on the contract, or it goes too down and they're not able to get the same amount of premium. But of course, it pays a good amount. It pays 25.11% annually. And what is my plan for QDTE? Well, of course, I'm only at 0.89% of my portfolio, and as always, I like being transparent as possible, so I'm not talking about this ETF if I myself am not invested. Of course, I'm only 9 shares in. I'm slowly adding into it, and of course, this is an expensive ETF for per share price. Right now, it's at $45.70 per share. I'm at $45.82 when it comes to my average cost, so a little bit over what it is right now. But overall, as you can see, year to date, of course, it just launched. This ETF has not been around for too long, since March. But since then, it has been performing quite well. It is down 0.69%, as you can see, since launch. But overall, it is doing quite well. It has recovered from its bottom. It continues to pay a dividend, and that dividend is weekly. The good thing about dividends weekly is the compounding effects. When we have compounding effects on a weekly basis, your dividends get reinvested. The dividends then earn more dividends the next week. And that's the beautiful part of QDTE. But that's also a reason why I'm slowly going into it. Of course, this is a new ETF. This is a new way of trading. They do, I'm pretty sure it's 0-day trades is what they do. They do zero DTE trades, option trades on a NASDAQ 100. So it is quite risky. It is quite, what's the word for it? I guess it's volatile. But overall, I'm just looking for that weekly reinvestment, the weekly compounding, and that's why I'm slowly going into it. As you can see, I'm slowly purchasing more and more and more. And the dividends that I do receive are reinvested. As you can see, I bought 231. I reinvested the 91 cents, bought another $91, bought another $44, another $44. So just slowly putting more and more money into it. Don't want to go straight in. Mostly I'm using my option income to go ahead and buy more of these shares. I am not going to be distributing my YieldMax ETFs into QDTE. QDTE is going to be a whole different area of my investment portfolio. It's going to be all by itself. And then once we reach the 10% mark of portfolio diversity, which right now we're at 0.89%, so we're quite far away. But once we reach the 10%, which I usually like to do with my holdings, once we reach the 10% of my portfolio holding, we will begin to, join it in with the YieldMax ETFs. And that will be present on my sheet. As you guys know, I have an Excel sheet or a Chrome sheet, whatever you want to call it. And it has all my YieldMax ETFs dividends, distributions, how much I earn for the year for each ETF. And with this sheet, we will now be going over my Roundhill weekly dividend ETFs as well. Over here on the right side, of course, it's not going to be the best when it comes to dividends to share yield. It's not going to add up the best because it is weekly paying, and I didn't feel like expanding it and doing it on a weekly basis. I might later on, but at the moment, I don't want to. But $1.23 we earned for the month of June, and there's still 2 more weeks of payments left this week of recording of this video, and next week, which is the last week of June. And for May, we did invest in the last week of May, and we got 42 cents. Overall, we're up $1.65. Nothing impressive. We're only at 9 shares. But the plan for this is to take, once we get to 10% of our portfolio, we will take these dividends from QDTE, and we will add it up with the rest of our distributions right here. We will add QDTE on the end, we'll add the distributions we receive from QDTE, and we will begin to funnel it further into YieldMax ETFs, and we'll overall distribute it equally through all of the dividend-paying ETFs. What else would I be doing with these dividends? Well, I'll also begin to use these dividends to go into my option strategy. If you guys may not know, if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, I have been allowed to trade options level 3. It's been a while. They were not letting me trade for some reason. I was blocked until 2024, and finally I'm now allowed to trade options level 3. So now that that is open to me, I will have QDTE providing me constant income on a weekly basis to go ahead and put into option level 3 trading. The option level 3 trading I'll be doing, you guys will see soon in the upcoming monthly video. Maybe I'll have some income to show for you guys. I might create a special section just for option level 3 trading. But I will be starting to trade spreads. I've already started to trade spreads. There'll be multiple types of spreads: iron condors, butterfly, poor man covered call, just regular credit spreads. You guys will see it all, and I'll try and teach you guys as well in the process. I myself am learning as well how to trade option level 3, how to manage my risk, how to manage my positions. But overall, it's going to be very interesting. And that, once again, is going to be correlating with QDTE, where I'll be taking these dividends that I'm earning from QDTE. Once we reach 10%, of course, in our portfolio, we are not at 10%, we're at 0.89. But once we reach 10% of the portfolio, we will begin to siphon some of the money from QDTE into other ETFs and into our option strategy. The option strategy will then fund more money into more funds like YieldMax ETF funds, QDTE, and other funds I have in my portfolio or might want to explore. It's just a consistent cycle. Taking money from one sector, putting money into another sector, or from one ETF into another DF, from the ETFs into my options, from the options into my ETFs, and it's just a consistent cycle, a consistent build. Of course, I'm not going all in on QDTE just yet. It is still brand new, and I do not trust their process as much as I would with YieldMax, because they are doing 0 DTE, and 0 DTE is quite risky in some scenarios. But of course, they're doing covered calls, so it is a little bit easier on that part, or a little less risky on that part, as long as they, they're profiting on even when they get assigned to their cover calls, or they roll at, hopefully at least they're making some profit. But overall, that is the strategy. That is the strategy for QDTE. We're going to be siphoning this money into YieldMax ETF once we reach that 10% portfolio diversity. Once we do that, we'll begin to siphon into other ETFs, and we'll begin to siphon it into, of course, the option strategy. And that is what I'm most excited for this coming month of July. Once we start going fully into level 3 trading. At the moment, I only have one poor man covered call open, and I have a iron condor open, and it has not been the greatest income just yet, but of course, it is leveraging my money or my income that I have available to me, or the cash I have available to me. I am able to leverage that for greater returns. As an example, I am running a poor man covered call strategy on TNA. As you guys know, I'm also running contracts on TNA, and currently I'm using $3,700 to make roughly $30-40 a week, or $1,200 to $1,500, $200 a month, depending on the month, of course. And that brings me roughly a 5% return every single month. Of course, that is very good. It is outpacing the market in most cases, and it is a pretty safe way to trade, especially since TNA trades on, not the NASDAQ, but it trades on, forgot exactly which place. Oh, on the Russell 2000 is what it trades on. Of course, it's leveraged 3 times, but overall, what we have done now, or what I have done now, is I've opened up a poor man covered call spread, I guess you could call it, poor man covered call on TNA, and I'm able to do that with 3 times less the money, but earning the same amount of income. So what can I do? I can 3 times leverage my $3,700 into creating 3 times more of the profits. So instead of putting $3,700 and creating $200 a month, I'm able to take $3,700 and 3 times that to $600 a month. And then what I'll be doing with that income is, of course, putting into my other ETFs and creating a safe hedge to where I'm constantly getting income on a monthly basis, a weekly basis with QDTE. And what does that do for me? Well, of course, when you're trading level 3, when you're trading spreads, you don't really have a safe side on the bottom. If you lose, you lose your money unless you roll and you're able to get that good roll. Besides that, you kind of lose your money. So if I put that $1,000 in, say God forbid something happens, I will lose that $1,000. Of course, because it's all contracts, I have no shares, there's no security on the bottom. It's not like a selling put where I can buy those shares even if it expires in the money, but there is that lack of security. But I will create that security with these ETFs. If I'm able to get to $1,000 a month off these ETFs, that'll be $1,000 a month. I will always have to trade on a monthly basis, even if I lose on 1 month. But of course, we're going to stay safe with that, and that is why we're going into QDTE, because this will be able to fund my option journey a lot quicker, and it'll be like an extra hedge on the downside in case I lose any of my plays, any of my spreads. So that is why I'm investing into QDTE, not just because it has decent returns. Of course, 25.11% is always great of a return when it comes to annually. It's not the highest, it's not the greatest we've seen, but it's a good return to have, especially with weekly compounding effects, which would boost that 25.11% to way higher annual rates if you include compounding. And of course, other strategies that I'm running with it, which we'll go deeper into in other videos. But as you guys heard with the short just a couple seconds ago, I'm going to be using QDTE to fund my option strategy on a weekly basis as well. So that is why I'm invested into QDTE. That's why I'm beginning to slowly put money into QDTE. We're only at $412. We're only at 9 shares. But slowly we'll begin to grow and grow and grow, and the more shares we get, the more dividends we get, the more reinvestments we get, and the faster we grow on a weekly basis, the faster we compound, as long as the value of the share stays the same. And as we can see right now, it is staying the same. Of course, it's too early to tell, but hopefully it continues to stay the same. So thank you everybody so much for watching my little video on QDTE and on my update on my portfolio, why I'm going into QDTE, why I'm going to be using it for options, why I'm going to be using it to siphon money into other ETFs, and how I'm going to be playing QDTE when it comes to my portfolio. I've seen many other people use QDTE and weekly ETFs to, partner up with other YieldMax ETFs and other companies that have ETFs that pay dividends, and they'll try to time the dividend payments to be every single week so they could compound it a little bit faster. Yes, that's a great way to do it, but I'm not very into dividends. Of course, dividends are great to have, and it's not a lot of work to do compared to options, but I've personally always been an options trader, and I'll continue to be into options. So this is a great way to hedge my positions and have extra income on the side in case I lose my option trades. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. That is why I'm going into QDTE, and I hope you guys will see where we end up. July is going to be very interesting. Next week, we're going to have our overall look at our portfolio for the month of June, how much we've earned, what we're doing, and where we're going to go for the next month of July, which will get very, very interesting because we're going to be getting a lot of income coming into the account to where I'll be able to trade and make some great plays, hopefully, if everything turns out to be great and the market doesn't crash. Hopefully no recession. I don't think we're going to have a recession, but who knows? Who knows at this point? Market's being very weird recently. But anyways, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and that is why we're investing into QDTE. Peace.